I was fine all along, and just now I lost my legs. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, everybody. Dave, thanks for having me. My name is Lindsay. I'm a life coach, like many of us nowadays. And today I'm going to talk about how I overcame my deepest fear. So, the fear of not being lovable. This is a very soft topic for most men nowadays, but I'm going to be vulnerable and dig into emotions. So just bear with me for a second. Oh, that changed already. Oh, okay. So, a brief dig into my childhood. As a child, my mother left very young. My father had his business and his pleasures that he pursued. So, as a sensitive child, I was always looking for love and attention. But discovering that it wasn't going to come from my mom and dad, I had to develop what we call coping mechanisms. I didn't know this when I was 5 years old. I just learned this recently. I wish I knew this then. But these coping mechanisms that developed in childhood, the people pleasing, the not being able to stand up for yourself, not being bold enough to do public speaking like now, they served me as a child because they helped me to get through childhood. Because as children, we need two things: authenticity and love. And when love is compromised, authenticity goes out the window. So I struggled for acceptance and for love, but I survived, barely. And as I grew up, I started discovering there was a conflict inside. There was that authentic side pulling me. There was always this need for being someone else. And I couldn't understand why. But now I understand that the coping mechanisms, the things I needed as a child to survive, were symbiotically embedded in my DNA. So I couldn't separate my childhood coping mechanisms from the adult I was trying to be. And I had this inner turmoil that wouldn't leave me. It was years and years of battling. There was the people pleasing, there was the self-sacrificing, there was the pain, there was the heartache. And not to say my life was miserable. I always thought I was happy all along. But there was something that was inauthentic about it. And I struggled and struggled and struggled. And eventually one day, I slipped into what I call the muddy slide. And this happened to be my coaching journey. And why I believe so much in it is because I didn't expect to discover what I discovered. It was a muddy slide. And I can't say it was pleasurable because some of the stuff you start looking at when you get into this, you go into coaching to help other people, but you never realize that the first thing that happens is self-reflection, and that is very painful. I kind of preferred blaming people and blaming my mom and dad, and it was easier. Taking responsibility is not, kind of do it now, but it's not something I really like. But I started taking responsibility and owning up to the things that I was blaming and accusing and all the stuff that wasn't resonating with me and what I wanted to bring to the world. So